Kerry, can you give us a snapshot of what you spoke about today at LogiPharma?
Sure, it was around sales and operations planning and cutting through the marketing hype. So one of the things that pharma is really, really good at the moment is the demand and the supply sort of balancing process. What we really need to do is move that S&OP into a more strategic decision-making forum. So it's very much about, one, have we got the sales and operations planning process doing what we want it to do? So is it doing operational excellence? Is it product and brand leadership? Is it all about actually making sure we've got the demand channels set up? So very much about, are you getting what you need out of your S&OP process? The other thing is really about switching that into a decision-making forum. So it's about, rather than talking about that's the demand plan and this is how we're going to react to it, it's looking at risks and opportunities. So there's an actual discussion going on about which way you want to go with your demand and your supply.
And what 3 takeaways did you give the audience today?
I really challenged them to say, have you thought about what your S&OP is there to deliver? If the answer comes back as everything is important, then they need to go back and really challenge themselves on that. The other is, rather than starting from bottom up, go to your stakeholders, go to the commercial team and ask them what they really want out of the process, because otherwise we just end up not talking the same language. And the third one is really make it a decision-making forum. At the moment, I think there's a reliance on just signing off a plan, and it's really, let's turn that into something that's tangible for both commercial and operations.
And what do you think are the biggest challenges currently facing the pharmaceutical industry?
I think ambiguity in terms of everything is changing from the commercial end. You've got emerging markets, you've got complexity in developed markets, and really the demand side is exploding. And from supply chain, we're supply chain professionals, we don't like ambiguity, so it's how we start to actually respond to that. So some of our FMCG businesses do that well, and they're starting to look at value propositions and talking on the commercial language. I think pharma is still in the supply mode and they need to switch that.
And what do you think you're trying to take away from LogiPharma today as a company?
What we're trying to make sure is that from a supply chain thought leadership process, that we're still on the hot topics. So having a lot of conversations with companies and asking, what are your challenges? Where are you at with your S&OP? And it varies. So some people have actually worked on the foundation processes really well, whereas others are still at the process of defining what service level to measure. So really just gauging where people are at and making sure that some of our solutions are still fit for purpose.
And looking forward, let's say a year or 2 years, what do you think will be the challenges in the future for the industry?
To be honest, I think there are a lot of what's going on now just expanding. So the customer market will continue to change. We will need to go out to sort of reach the population. We're only supplying 15% of the population at the moment. So it's only going to get worse. For example, diabetic population getting bigger. There's all these challenges around how we make sure the drugs get to the market.
And what are you talking to people about today in the exhibition hall?
So one of our products is SC Prime, and that is all about a supply chain improvement methodology. And really it's, whilst you really do need a global approach to this, but with local sensitivity. So one of the things we're actually sort of promoting is an SC Prime community, and this is really to get the pharma community together to understand where we are in terms of planning processes so that we can feed back and share insight across the community.
And how far have you got with this launch?
It's going well. We've actually got quite a few companies joined up and there's a lot of interest. There's a bit of a concern about, do I have time to commit to this? But that's part of the solution we can bring in, making sure we make it useful for people.